walked in, I woke up. I've never seen a pretty girl look so tough, baby. You got that look. I color you peach and black, color me taking her back. Crucial, I think I want you.
You got the look. That's Prince right here on Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I wanted to do a quick one. Someone had suggested Wayne Dyer to me a while back, and I had never actually had read him, and I've read one of his books already. I'm into another one of them, and this one's the Real Magic book. And someone recommended that one, and I was like, oh, okay, we'll check this one out for sure. So there's the 7 beliefs for manifesting real magic. And when I read them, I'm like, well, these are actually really good core, kind of solid spiritual beliefs that I'm very fond of right now, that at least are kind of more of a foundation. And I thought that they kind of worked well from that standpoint, where I can kind of offer up a show that's like, all right, here's sort of the framework that I'm kind of coming from. Whether you agree, disagree, or anything in between, here's kind of where I'm coming from. I guess we all have our beliefs about things. Some beliefs limit, some beliefs don't, some beliefs expand, some beliefs maybe go in a very specific way. And, you know, even limiting beliefs per se are not wrong. What it comes down to is if you're trying to create something and you have a belief that's blocking you, then at that point, yeah, it's not beneficial. It's not helpful. But if there's, say, a situation that there's a moral aspect to it, and you've decided because of that you'd rather not do it, that's a belief and certainly is limiting you in that case, but it's a moral thing where I don't think it's right to punch people in the face. So I am not going to punch this person in the face because I know that is how I could definitely do this, right? So again, it kind of comes down to that. So again, we all have different beliefs, and I don't think there's a black and white, belief at all times. Like I said, sometimes there's a place for violence, right? So the 7 beliefs for manifesting real magic. There is an invisible but knowable life force within you. There is a part of us that, one, continued on prior to being in this life and will continue on after this life and is happening right now. So there is definitely this part of us that is forever, for better terms. I don't know what forever really actually means, right? Because we come from a very limited standpoint. A number of years we get to experience life and joy and happiness here on earth, and we can't remember anything outside of that. But there is this life force that continues on. And these life forces are obviously talking, not obviously, but they are talking to others. There is this higher self-concept is what I'm sort of referring to as the life force as well. It's that essence of our soul. It's who we actually are. And it's pretty profound in the way it interacts with others. So number 2, your thoughts are something that you control and they originate within you. This, to me, is key. A lot of people say, well, how do you do that? How do you control your thoughts? My thoughts aren't mine. They just pop into my head. Well, your thoughts are yours, and they're all of ours. And however they originate can come from just an absent mind and picking up from consciousness. I mean, believe me, we could get into a whole separate show on that. Fact is, thoughts will pop into your head if you're not creating them, but they are still your thoughts. If a thought pops into your head that's weird or not positive or something like that, then you best replace it with a positive thought. Whatever the reasoning is. Now, if it's happening frequently, I'm constantly catching myself being negative. Why is that? That's when you need to look to see what sort of things going on in my life that's possibly, maybe I got issues with my mom, right? I didn't get hugged enough. The ice cream truck didn't come by my house. That one time it did, and I didn't have enough change for Jenny. I didn't get to get her an ice cream. A bomb pop, one of those. Anywho. Number 3, there are no limits. No limits. Limits are on us. The only limitations that exist are the ones that we impose upon ourselves. We may think that science has answered certain things, but oftentimes we've found, at least in the past, that science actually hasn't been able to see these things yet. A good example is microorganisms, right? Forever ago, they didn't actually think they were there. They didn't believe they existed. They didn't look at the world through a lens that had small little organisms that made people sick, and that's why people died at 30 or whatever, right? But then someone invented a microscope, And they were able to look at things 100 times or 150 times, smaller and magnify it up. And then they realized, oh my God, there's all these little things that are alive. Well, imagine if we have one. Well, we do, electron microscopes, right? We can drill deeper and deeper, but the limits that we impose on our physical universe, for example, to use science, is to the level of how good our measuring is able to handle, how small it can do, or how big it can deal with, like looking at the universe and trying to figure out, oh, is this galaxy moving relative to this galaxy? Like we can tell. We're in an arm of a galaxy. Maybe there's a light difference, the blue, red light shift. I know I got all that, but really, can we truly tell? Again, our limits are really our understandings into how well we can gauge these things. Number 4, truly, your life has a purpose. There is a purpose in your life. There is something that you are really here to do, explore, enjoy. And every time you do it, be it accidentally or on purpose, you feel great joy inside your heart, your mind, your body, your soul. And it's a wonderful thing when we can identify with that. And really, how do I find it? Well, what are you doing that you feel that love for? What do you feel like an attraction towards, or something that just always has your attention, something that just interests you, something you really enjoy? Could be art. And you're like, well, how? I can't make money doing art. Well, I disagree. There are ways that you can use your artistic abilities to make money in the world, and marketing and things along those lines. And then you create a job that you actually enjoy and love. And then you do your art at home because you can afford a studio. And you spend a little time, like me, doing my YouTubes at night because it's something I love, but I've got a full-time gig making great money. And I love this. And I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry if it pays me. I don't have to worry if it turns into money, which makes it way more fun and way more enjoyable. So how can I do something to make money at it? You don't necessarily have to, but one thing I was taught, and I think I don't know who quoted this initially, but if you love what you'll do, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And this is so true. My dad taught me this when I was younger. Highly recommend it. It's always good to do that. 5, you overcome weakness by leaving them behind. Weaknesses are typically things that we impose on ourselves. I'm not able to do this because I've never been able to. Blah, 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 blah. These are things that we've constantly hid behind because I wasn't educated enough. I have a friend of mine that's got 3 really brilliant children, right? Well, they're all capable in unique ways. One's like a PhD, super smart, just like amazing mind. Other one's just like got a good solid work ethic. Third one, I don't know. I don't quite know enough about her, but whatever. But this guy is the father of them. He's constantly puts himself down because he doesn't have as much education. He didn't go to as much formal college and education and all that. But this guy has read so much stuff and is very well read, and you can tell when you talk to him. So he hides behind that, I'm not smart like my kids, because he thinks smart is equated to going to school. School is just, it's an organization. It has nothing to do with whether you're smart or not. Your IQ was good before you went to school, and your IQ will be good after you go to school. In some cases, it might be reduced. So again, we overcome weaknesses by leaving them behind. Let go of them. You don't need to think that way. If there's some sort of weird pending limitation that you're putting on yourself, you need to get rid of it because it's holding you back. It's definitely not helping. Number 6, when you examine what you believe to be impossible, you can change your beliefs. There's a lot of us that are like, don't think it's possible to do something. Don't believe it's possible I can meet so-and-so because I've never met them, or they're famous. I don't believe it's possible to get me and my ex back because there was so much damage done. I don't believe it's possible to fly, says the people before the Wright brothers. I don't believe it's possible that there's little teeny microorganisms prior to, I don't know, pasture. I don't really know who's the first one to see it. They did pasteurization, which is totally separate, but whatever, right? I don't know who found the first microbiotic thingy, microorganism. There we go. Again, when we look at what we consider impossible, we see our limitations. We see where we've put up a wall. The only thing that's impossible, and this is kind of similar to the one before with the no limits, but the only thing that's really impossible is what we consider impossible. Otherwise, if there's a will, there's a way. And this is a phrase that really means something to me and truly has driven me in life, where if there was something I really, really wanted and I was going to get it, then nothing mattered to stop that. There was no, hey, you can't do that, or hey, you're not good enough, or hey, you're this or that. You want to bet? Watch. So again, nothing is impossible. And if you find the places where you think you see what's impossible, you will open yourself up to what he's calling about the magic in your life. It's really, truly this is a great book, The Real Magic by him, because when you do open yourself up to all this stuff, you start to see things and experience things that on a level, like 4, 5, 6 times what you used to. And it is amazing how much of it's suddenly around you. It blows you go from maybe 1 to 2 things here and there to, 10 things a day that are like, wow, this was a coincidence. Oh, this is another coincidence. Oh my God, they're all over the place. It's raining coincidences. It hurts me. So again, it's always good that way. Number 7, the only reason I'm panicking, because I think I can pull off about 14 minutes on the videos before the camera shuts off, and I used to be spoiled prior, and so I'm just keeping close tabs. And we're on number 7, so I think we're good. You can go beyond logic. Logic is one of those things where I'm just trying to be logical. I'm just trying to, say that this is how things are. And what you do typically when you're looking at logic is, 1, you're coming at it from a place of what you understand currently, or in the case of maybe a relationship or things along those lines, you're actually maybe placing a limitation because right now things aren't good between you, so why could it ever possibly be different? And that's what a lot of times people saying, I'm just being realistic, I'm just being logical, sure, that negative thing can happen, for sure. And I don't think it's wise for anybody to just go, la, 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 no, no, no. Be open to the fact that, yeah, I might be wrong, but I'm going to try to create this scenario regardless. This is what I'm going to try to do. And people that are saying, nah, I don't think you can, I'm not going to listen to you, because if I do, there's no way I will ever create this life that I'm trying to create right now. Whatever it is, new job, new boat, new car, new person, new whatever. Whatever you're trying to enhance. Maybe you're just not feeling good most of the time. Maybe you're trying to get into a good exercise routine. Whatever the thing is, this will make a difference when we can start to really get past this realistic way of looking at life sometimes, and maybe be a little more open to magic, because logic and magic don't work as well as one would hope. Hopefully this all makes sense. Going out with a great song by Bon Jovi off his New Jersey album. It is Bad Medicine right here on Dan Radio Style.